Content warning. Guys Will Be Talking is a podcast centered on media with some pretty dour subject matter. If you're particularly sensitive to any type of content, please check the content warning list linked in the description before continuing. So, the other day, I think it was Wednesday? Maybe it was Thursday. I don't remember. I was editing the podcast for Lisa the Painful Part 1. Or maybe it was Part 2. It was Part 2. I was drinking some
Cut
tea.
this fucking shit. This is the joyful motherfucker. Nern is dead. I want to kill Nern again. I will play Lisa the Painful again and make him survive up until that point, just so that I can put him in my party at the very end, so that I can get the chance to kill him myself with my own hands.
Welcome back, everybody, to Guys Will Be Talking. Today we are discussing Lisa the Joyful, the DLC chapter for Lisa. With me is my Nern-hating co-host, Victor.
Hi. I fucking hate Nern.
And opposite of him, Nern-loving host, Jacob.
Fuck you.
All right.
That was a good bit to introduce the episode.
Thank you.
I gotta admit.
Okay, good.
Still hate it though.
Nah.
But it was good.
So, last time we wrapped up Lisa the Painful. Went through a bit of an experience between the both of us. And it was a good time. I was happy for it. How do you feel?
Are we pretending that we are not recording back to back?
Shut up! Shut up! They don't have to know that.
Well, okay, guys, to be fair, we assumed that, the first part of the game is, 1 hour total, and the first part of the game was, 6 hours. So, we assumed that the first part of the game plus the joy food would be, What are you doing? I assumed that it would be just another episode, and it turned out that we did 2 hours and 30 with just the first part. I kind of like how we mostly discussed the 6th chapter of Gods Will Be Watching in our last series. We do not learn, history repeats itself. Anyway, here's the DLC.
I was singing the Nern monologue song.
Hey. Okay.
So, all right, before we get into the joyful, I don't know the history that significantly. This, I mentioned the fucking H-Bomber guy Lisa video last episode, and he kind of talks about this too. So to my understanding, Lisa the Joyful was like a Kickstarter stretch goal for this game. So the stretch goal promising to deliver more stuff about Buddy, but also deliver more lore about the world. And like I said in the last episode, I care not for the lore. I don't fucking give a shit about the Flash. It's an interesting concept, but to me it's one of those mysteries I feel best left unsolved. Especially in such a personal story like this one. I don't need to know what happened to all the women in the world. There was this movie that came out when I was a kid called Children of Men. I've never seen this movie. I don't know what it's about, but when I was a kid and I heard that title, I pictured that this is what the movie was about. And so, you know what? That's fine with me. I don't want to watch it because I like that idea. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this.
I mean, you'd probably be disappointed if you watch the actual movie.
Exactly. That's why
So,
I can't watch it. But also more specifically was that because I think younger than 10 at least when this movie came out. So my and people were talking about it for whatever reason. This movie seems to have had no cultural impact because I never hear about it anymore. But for some reason, it really stood out to me as a kid, just hearing the name and seeing like trailers for it or whatever. But my imagination of it was that it was a post-apocalypse like Lisa, where there were no more women, and the plot of the movie was going to be that men had to figure out how to have kids with each other. And that's probably not what the movie is about at all, but that's what I want it to be about.
I thought you were gonna say men would have to get pregnant.
Well, yeah, that's basically what the implication is.
I got flashbanged by the cursed image of like Goku being pregnant with a Vegeta's child.
What do you mean cursed? That's beautiful. That's art and it's beautiful. Goku Mpreg is art.
Right. I mean, it is art.
So on that note, we open with a scene. We open Lisa the Joyful with a scene of Brad dragging in somebody who's got like a bag over their head to his house. This is a flashback from before the painful. And he drops the guy in front of Buddy and tells her to kill him. So she's prepared in case anything happens to Brad. And so we get, Buddy kills him. Did I just say Bruddy? Buddy kills him.
Yeah, you just said Bruddy. We have to call her that for the rest of the game now.
Okay. So Bruddy kills him and...
No, cut it out. Cut it out. I was joking.
So Buddy kills him and Brad is like, good. Next time he won't be tied up. Smash cut to title screen, Lisa the Joyful.
And you fight Brad immediately after.
What?
Right?
No. I don't think so.
You don't... You fight Brad as in a mutant because he gets the jump on you.
Oh, no. Not... Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Do you fight him? I don't think...
There is a turn-by-turn point where, like, Buddy is asleep.
Uh-huh.
And Brad is just there, and you can't do anything because Buddy is asleep.
Oh,
and then eventually
right.
Brad attacks and she wakes up.
Yeah.
But I think the title screen drop and all the things you describe is after that. I think?
No. It definitely... The title screen drops...
Man, we are so qualified.
I know. The title screen drops right after he says, now, next time you won't be tied up. And then we get another one of those, like, black screen conversations where, like, one person's dialogue is on the top of the screen and the other person's dialogue is on the bottom. Which...
I remember this conversation taking place and I completely forgot its content because it's one of those world-building things.
It's one of the bullshit lore drop scenes. It's fucking Yato talking to Buzzo, which I care not for. But yeah, after that, we cut like immediately to the end of the painful where we are playing as Buddy now. And yes, the first fight is Brad having mutated. You're like fully controlling Buddy as you would normally at this point, right? Like you get a taste for her fighting style.
Yeah.
So Buddy's fighting style is really cool. I fucking love it. It's like it adds kind of the precision timing based mechanics of like most people would say fucking Paper Mario. I've never played that bullshit garbage. To me, I would say it adds the timing based mechanics of like fucking, I don't know, Sea of Stars or fucking South Park RPG, funnily enough. But
it's not Paper Mario, it's Mario and Luigi RPG, so which came before Paper Mario.
Doesn't it also happen in Paper Mario though?
Yeah, but the Mario and Luigi RPG came before Paper Mario.
Yeah, whatever. It's all garbage.
So
it's all Nintendo trash. I don't care.
Actually, hey, it's Nintendo, not yet trash. Okay, I will stand by this statement.
All right, it's Nintendo recycling. It's not trash yet.
I wish it was recycling.
So Buzzo shows up, I think, like before the fight. Oh, wait, I wanted to talk about Buddy's combat mechanics. So basically what you do is she is a TP character, so she builds her
Technique
TP,
points
yeah,
as she fights.
yeah, as she fights by just doing normal attacks, but then you can do like throat slashes and like harder swings basically, and if you do that, you basically get a normal hit and then a timing based thing where you have to press A as a circle closes in, and if you press it good enough, you get a second hit that's a crit, and if you hit it perfectly, it's like a super crit. And if you miss entirely, she just doesn't get the second swing, basically. But it's really cool. Mm-hmm. This is for at least half of it, and like most of the fights, you will only be using Buddy. This is not like a companion-based system like the Painful was. So I think this is a pretty cool like evolution of the combat mechanics for a mostly solo system.
Yeah, I wish it was a bit more clear to like the circle ending thing, because I was never clear if like it was the inside, like I needed the perfect timing was just when the outer circle was closing, or if it was when I was eating the inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a bit of trial and error to figure that out, but aside from that, it's smart, because since you are going to play Buddy through all the game, it's good that there is a bit of a skill-based skill that you can use that doesn't get boring to spam, because you need to keep your wits about you to get the timing right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good choice, and it's I mean, I always like in RPGs when you have the option to have you just have a character that all of their attacks are different slashes, and they don't have all like magical bullshit on the side or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy feels like a great kind of a really Buddy feel. We'll come back to this, but like Buddy feels like a badass in this game.
Oh yeah, I mean this is almost like, at least gameplay wise, just a fucking victory lap for the game.
Yeah,
like this is just like you feel the coolest at all points. In the Painful, like Brad could only walk or ride the bicycle, and the bicycle would make you move faster, but Buddy can run, and running as Buddy feels so fucking cool.
Yeah, she jumps 2 squares rather than just one.
Yeah.
She doesn't take fall damage. At least it takes a really big fall for her to take damage.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little hint at some point in the game that's like, when you're old, don't fall off big things. Your knees can't take it. So just because you're young, Buddy doesn't need to give a shit. Yeah. And that's great.
And I also love about that hint that the person quoted for having written that hint is Cash Money Terrionaire.
Who is that?
It's Terry.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, I guess it's just Terry. I just didn't get the joke of the Cash Terry Millionaire.
Oh. No, it's Cash Money Terrionaire.
I still don't get it.
Going back, so Buzzo shows up to interrupt the fight with Brad, and Buddy basically asks him, like, why the fuck are you doing all of this to Brad? And he just tells her, like, don't dwell on the past, take it from me, otherwise you'll end up a crazy person. And
that's funny coming from him.
Yeah.
But as he said,
and
coming from him.
So he like takes Brad or something and kind of leaves you. I can't remember exactly.
He says something interesting. He like Buddy is like, you're not going to do anything to me, and he's like, no, I've never wanted to hurt you. It was never really about you.
Yeah, that part was really cool.
You clearly get the explicit answer from him that he's not just a crazy dude that was doing all this psychopathic fuck. Like, he had a vendetta against Brad specifically, and Buddy was just a tool to enact that vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
And now that Brad is fully turned into a thing, like, he doesn't mind saving Buddy or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And so at this point, you are just kind of going off. You're getting a feel for Buddy's like running ability and what exploring the world feels like as her. And then you encounter this group of guys who call themselves, what are they, the opportunists or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And they want Buddy because they're nasty men, but before I think you start fighting them and Rando steps in. He's like come to
so, yeah.
after the fight in the Painful, and he helps Buddy fight them off. But before the fight really gets into it, a Joy Mutant shows up and kills the opportunists, and Rando and Buddy like go hide in a cave until the Joy Mutant goes away, basically.
This particular Joy Mutant, we will talk back about it.
Yes.
It's a special one. It's not just a random one.
Yeah. During, while they're waiting in the cave, you get confirmation that Sticky never touched Buddy. She talks to Rando about how, like, he literally just talked to her. And you get this option of, like, whether Buddy will trust Rando. And if you choose trust, Rando will carry Buddy on his shoulders, and it's very cute. And you control Rando for that bit.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what this choice is about. I was wondering if there was something deeper on that.
I mean, I've never chosen not to trust Rando. Did you choose not to trust him?
Yeah, why would the fuck... Who wouldn't trust Rando in this world?
Yeah, exactly. So... I guess there's an argument to be made that Buddy wouldn't trust anybody, but, like, Rando was the one person who showed her, like, immense empathy. So I feel like she would still trust him, at least a bit. And also, it's fucking sick as hell that he's carrying her on his shoulders all cute.
And both of them are wearing a skull mask, because at this point, Rando gives her this because, like, she needs a mask so that people don't attack her on sight.
Yeah.
So you have the little Rando, you have Rando Jr. and Rando Senior carrying Rando Jr. It's really cute.
Uh-huh. And I think you do end up encountering some people that you fight, and you get to see Rando's fighting style, which is really cool. Because like we said, in the Painful, he uses Brad's Armstrong style, but in this, like, it is controlled the exact same way with, like, a list of button combos that you perform to pull off skills, which is very, very nice, carrying that over through Rando.
Yeah, and also his fireball, he's pointing a finger to shoot a fire beam, which is cool as
sick as fuck. And you get to this, like, big slab with a bunch of names on it that Rando basically exposits, like, this is the list of the warlords who run this region. The region is called Olaf. And then he, like, passes out because he's still, like, fucking beaten up from the Painful.
For the rest of the game, and the first time I read it, I've read it as Olate. And so I just pronounced it in my head as Olate for the rest of the game. And then afterwards I was like, oh wait, I didn't mean for it to be the latte meme. Fuck.
The what meme?
That was an intention. Wait, is it? Do you pronounce it this way in English? Like the fucking meme with Obama, like the meme of, like, holding the latte in American politics? The latte? Wait.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wait, I'm feeling a bit crazy here.
I really hope Audacity picked up your furious typing that I heard from Discord.
I mean, if you heard it in Discord, then... wait, what? Wait, hold on. Wait, what was I talking about then?
I have no idea.
Wait, hold on. I'm feeling more and more crazy. I need... give me 2 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Just 2 minutes. Hold on.
I mean, I googled LATHE, and it's some kind of machine. A machine tool that rotates a workpiece, like wood, metal, or plastic, against a stationary cutting tool to shape it.
So it is what you said, it is LATHE.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got an article from Le Monde. No, there is not LATH in there. So, wait.
I did just Google it, and apparently Olathe is a city in Kansas. So maybe this is canonically taking place in Kansas.
Okay, you know what? I will come back to you on this one. I will ask the question directly on the Lions Led by Donkeys Discord. What the fuck is holding the latte means exactly? Because I assumed it was an American thing that like you would know about, but now I feel like the truth could be very extremely funny. But I don't know.
What? What? I've not heard of this holding. I mean, I guess I can Google.
Like I see people in the USA Discord using the term like stepping away from the latte, but I don't know what exactly it means.
Here's a post on X.
Oh,
Whoever made this meme, please step away from the latte of heaven.
Hands of the latte.
I don't know. I'm seeing words like prime minister in here. I don't think this is something my American brain will comprehend.
But I'm pretty sure it's an American thing. Look, maybe someone will lose this mind, will know about it and will lose their mind listening to us. Or maybe they won't. Or maybe we'll just cut it off entirely. I don't know. Where were we? We just talked about the list, and Rando needed to rest, so he rested.
Yeah.
In front of the list.
And we cut to several days later where like some of Rando's friends have been taking care of him, but they have like tied up Buddy and kept her prisoner in another room. They mentioned that like one of them had assaulted Buddy while she was tied up, so the rest of them killed him.
Yeah.
And Rando is basically like, no, why are you doing that? She's my friend. And so they're like, oh, fuck. So they go to try and fix things with her, but she kills all of them.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, like, Rando is like, why the fuck are you guys doing this? This is, like, do not do this or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then he kind of reluctantly accepts the reality of the situation that, like, okay, she needs to be kept here, at least for a while. And, like, it feels like Rando knew these men were coming to save him.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as you said, like, then it flashes back and Buddy kind of, I think, Rando eventually walks out of where he is once he's fully rested, and Buddy is just out there. You know, she's out of the building, and he's like, "Oh, what happened?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, we were captured by these men. Are you okay? I killed them."
Yeah, and then she says the line, "This is all people want to do to me. I hate it."
Yeah.
And from here we get another like quick flashback where we play as Buzzo this time, where he like walks towards Lisa, who in the midst of him walking towards her transforms into Buddy, and then he like wakes up with the Brad mutant tied up near him in the same cave. And we cut back and Buddy basically just declares her goal to murder everyone on the list so that she can be in control of Olathe, and then like there will be no one left who will want to do the things to her that she hates, because she'll have all the power essentially.
She will repeatedly repeat it. My god, put a gun to my face. She will say it throughout the whole game, but like her goal is self-determination, right?
Yeah.
It's like now that she's getting a chance to actually choosing for herself, she wants basically like the guarantee that she can choose for herself. She wants the guarantee that there will be no one that can be out for her, because she will be on top. She will be the top dog.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, other than the very beginning, you've been controlling Rando, who's been in control of the party, but now like Buddy has switched to the leader of the party. And at this point, you get a bunch of caves that you can go to in any order, similar to the last act of The Painful, and each one will like lead to one of the warlords.
And this starts a strenuous relationship between Rando and Buddy,
Mm-hmm.
because Rando was known as one of the big warlords also, but like he took a lot of time to like make ties and alliances with him. Like most people on this list know Rando and trust him,
Yeah.
and Rondo is like, no, I mean, like, what do you want? Why do you want to do this? And like Rondo is like, buddy, we shouldn't be doing this. This is a bad idea. But Buddy says like, no, as long as there are people out there, like, they will keep coming for me. And also, this is what I want. Rando, I trusted you with your plan, but then we ended up getting captured. So you're not the leader anymore. I trust you enough to follow me, but you are not giving orders anymore. If you don't like it, you're out. And so Rando is kind of like, well, I need to protect her. Like she's still the only child, but now she wants this for herself, and he doesn't have it in him to keep arguing, basically. So he just joins her, and that's the start of their very strenuous relationship throughout the game.
And very specifically, the painful has been in the region of Western Oloth, and this is very specifically the eastern side of Oloth, which is basically divided by Rando's base and the sea. And so, like, Rando, despite being like a very powerful warlord, is not on this list because he is a warlord of Western Oloth, and these are all Eastern Oloth warlords. And I think there's something interesting here because throughout Western Oloth, everyone's kind of at each other's throats. There are factions warring with each other just as much as they're warring with you. There's significantly less order in each area, but here in Eastern Oloth, they all kind of keep to themselves. Like some of the warlords you fight are very specifically like, they're powerful, but they do good things for people.
Yeah.
Like one of the early ones you fight is Lardy Hernandez, brother of Tardy and Fardy and Shardy. Going in, trying to fight him, Rando is basically like, Lardy's one of the main suppliers for half of Oloth. Like, the Hernandezes help a lot of people. You probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah, like he's the truck guy.
Yeah.
He's bringing everyone their shit. The game kind of makes clear that like these are people in power, but they're not warlords in the sense that they wage war. They're warlords in the sense that they're more or less people that are responsible for a semblance of society.
And something notable too is in Western Oloth, when you play as Brad, no matter where you are, like, every map has something kind of like fucked up in it, whether it be like a corpse laying there, like a joy mutant sitting there, like the aftermath of some kind of battle has happened. But Eastern Oloth is like clean, and there's not even like really people around outside of the designated like territories. But as you progress more and kill more and more of the warlords, like, the world starts getting more fucked up. Like, corpses start showing up in the overworld, essentially. Like, blood is being spilled everywhere. You are having a noticeably negative impact on Oloth here as you are going through killing everyone on this list.
Yeah, I want to bring this up again once we've cleared most of the list, but yeah, I totally agree. Like, the first violent things that you will see at Eastern Oloth is like when some joy mutants are rampaging, but this happens mostly outside of it.
Yeah.
Like, the main hub area at this point is fairly clean. Also, there are people on the list that are already barred out, and those people are the guys you took, like in Lisa the Painful, there are the dude dropped in an American flag, the tsunami dude from the bath, and I think there is a joy mutant among them, and the dude you get the tools from.
Yeah, Buff Van Dyke.
So they're all on the list. They're all on the list. I guess they're technically Warlords of the East because they're close enough, I guess. Since you haven't crossed the sea at this point, but
yeah, I guess these are just the warlords of all of Oloth, not necessarily just of Eastern, but like at this point you have taken out all the Western warlords, or they have already perished at this point. This DLC is very much like structured in half. So you have the bottom 3 warlords on the list that you fight first, and then there's like that's the first half of the game. Very specifically also is that it is listed in like ascending order of who is strongest to weakest. So the warlords who have already been defeated and already crossed off were on the bottom of the list. So right now you are fighting like the weakest 3 warlords of Eastern Olaf, who are Vega Van Dam, Mr. Beautiful, and oh my god, Lardy Hernandez.
Right. Damn, I'm impressed you can remember the names.
I'm looking at the slab right now, baby.
Hell yeah.
But when I want to like talk a little bit about the Lardy fight, just because it's really cool, where this is one of the few fights I can really think of that has like a phase change.
Yes.
So you're fighting him.
And what a phase change.
It's so fucking sick. Like you're fighting him, it's pretty normal, and then you get like to phase 2 and he pulls out 2 assault rifles and goes, "I'm not fucking around." And then at that point, every single one of his turns, he just shoots you like a million fucking times, and it's sick as hell.
There are AKs, right? So it's really like just the energy of the "I'm not fucking around" is insane. It's great.
At this point, we will have heard. It doesn't happen during the Lardy fight. It happens during a fight like a bit before it, but we will have heard my favorite track in the game, 666 Kill Chop Deluxe, which is just fucking amazing.
Yes.
I have this game's soundtrack on vinyl, and I got my fiance a record player for Christmas, and the first thing I put on this record player was 666 Kill Chop Deluxe.
Yeah.
And it sounds fucking crazy in HD like that.
Damn.
So another interesting addition of the definitive edition is the warlord skills. So this was not in the original Joyful, but when you kill a warlord, you get a warlord skill from them that you can then use in battle for the rest of the game. Lardy's is interesting. It's like you just order a fucking Amazon delivery basically, and it can give you like some healing items or something.
I assume it's something to abuse of to like get a bunch of items when you fight weaker enemies.
Yeah.
But beyond that, yeah.
I've been talking about it as if we choose Lardy first no matter what, but that's just who I chose first. But the after the first warlord you kill, like every time you kill a warlord, it will teleport you back to the list with that warlord's name having been scratched out. To continue shit talking first party Sony games relative to Lisa, one of the notable things in Ghosts of Yotei is that you are also fighting a list of people that you've sworn revenge on, and whenever you kill them, you like scratch their name off of that list. Eat Lisa's dirt, fucking Ghost of Yotei.
Yes. Nice.
I criticize them, but I do love Sony first party games, so I don't know why I'm shit talking them that much. But honestly, Lisa's just so good.
I'm here for it because I don't like Sony's first party game, even though I've never owned a PlayStation. I listen to enough podcasts shit talking the fuck, what are they called? Uncharted series and then the new God of Wars and shit. It's very petty.
I don't care for the God of Wars. I will defend Uncharted, but like half-heartedly, because yeah, they're not really that good, but I like them.
Yeah, I killed Lardy Hernandez 2 first, and so and when you kill a warlord, so you're teleported back to that list, and then you will walk right, and you will get a campfire to rest to. And you will get a conversation with Rando at this point.
And you have to rest at the campfire. Like every time you walk up to it, Rando will basically pop out and be like, "We should take a rest," so you can heal and like have a conversation with him. After the first, maybe actually I don't know if it is even dependent on order, but the first conversation to me had like this cool bit where Rando is talking about like what Olaf used to be like before the Flash, and Buddy has this sick line where she's like, I was born into this Olaf, not whatever place you're talking about.
Yeah, despite Rando having got his face fucking torn off, like he's still like damn, the world used to be better.
Yeah.
And you're still young, you're still a kid, you shouldn't be living like this. Basically, Rando really believes in like the future of humanity and the idea that like, oh, having a woman could bring back some sort of sense into people's life. It could be give people hope for the future and whatever. But the thing is, Buddy never cared about that stuff. She wanted to join Rando's army because partly to get away from Brad and partly to like get some meaning inside her life. But the want to get some meaning inside her life is also self-determination, and it's very much like they used to be on the same time. Rando and Buddy used to have interests that align, but now they've completely 180'd and there are complete opposites, with Rando wanting a Buddy to build while Buddy wants to dominate.
She wants to destroy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Destroy is more apt because it's not even like she's taking over leadership-wise. She's just going on the list and killing everyone in her path.
What was the next area you went to?
I went then to Vega Van Damme.
Okay, nice. He was the last one I did of this section.
Yeah. He has more guys on his side than Lardy. When he enters the screen, he does a bunch of he flashes the screen a bunch of times because he's fabulous or whatever. I wish there was an epilepsy warning at this point. Like, I'm not epileptic, but that shit hurts the eyes. And eventually, like, his minions are like, yo, stop that shit, it's annoying. And also the way Buddy confronts the Warlord. Like, I think especially Hernandez, where she's like, are you Hernandez? And then Lardy is like, wait, Rando, what's going on? And Rando doesn't really know how to put it. He's just like, just talk to her. And Buddy will just repeat herself, are you Lardy Hernandez? Are you Lardy Hernandez? And when eventually, they say, yeah, she's like, she starts the fight.
Just attacks immediately.
Just attacks immediately.
It's
so, it's interesting to see Buddy being the bloodthirsty one and the one that's like, that has no semblance of like social contact or whatever. But it's also, it echoes what she says when she's like, I'm not from this Olathe. Because, for example, Lardy, he's the truck guy. He was probably, before the Flash, the truck guy.
Yeah.
And he just kept on being the truck guy and doing what he did and helping people out with their deliveries, just in this world. But to Buddy, this isn't a civilization she knew. This isn't something she sees an interest for or something to, a reason to devote effort to uphold it. Like, it's not something she understands. It's not even that she hates it. It's just not on her radar. Kind of in the same way that the Vikings act in Vinland Saga, to compare it, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, basically, she's lived a life of imprisonment and war and knows nothing else.
Yes.
And there has never been a person with power that has done anything for her other than traumatize her and wound her and whatnot. And so, to her, like, they just all got to get taken out because it's them or her.
Yeah, and it's more sympathetic than just some bandit's quest, because she's very articulate about how she sees things, and she's not wrong when she said that all of these people want is the same thing. They want my ass. They want to assault me. I mean, she's not wrong. Everyone that's been out there were for her ass. So it's like...
Yeah.
So she takes out Van Damme and she learns his warlord skill, which is like, you flash everyone, which is useful because a blind reduces enemy accuracy and lasts several turns.
But yeah. I could never bring myself to use that one.
Why?
It feels wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't really see Buddy being all Kia flashy flash
Yeah.
time. I mean, that's not the worst of her abilities in that regard.
No.
Uh, because when she levels up enough, she gets the ability, like the skill that's like flashing out or whatever, flash out the goods, which is like you show your titties to stun an enemy, which is messed up. There is also a sign in the overworld that you can read that's like, do not use your body as a weapon. You're better than that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing this. But you can. The game lets you. The game gives you the option to do that, and that's messed up. But it's also like something that maybe Buddy would do, at this point, with the intent to kill behind, of course.
Yeah. It also, like, for me, canonically, she's always had one nipple, so I don't know. I don't want to remind myself of that.
Oopsie.
So after you kill the second warlord, you get another scene where Rando confesses to Buddy that, like, his real name is Dustin Armstrong and that he is Brad's adopted son, making them siblings, which, kind of changes the context of it. Maybe explains why Rando isn't one of the guys who just wants to assault her. Because, I mean, I think it mostly has to do with him being, like, a genuinely empathetic person, but
I think so too.
It could also just be that.
But also, in this conversation, Rando tries to... he talks about that and stuff, and Buddy is being very, like... She doesn't like it that Rando talks to her.
Yeah.
But Rando tries to kind of bring that up, and it piques her interest, and he kind of tries to be like, so I'm technically your brother. Will you listen to your big brother a bit more, Buddy? This doesn't work.
No, she goes to sleep.
Nice try, though.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
Yeah. So the last warlord in this section is Mr. Beautiful. And this is a really cool area. When you enter the area, Rando is like, hey, buddy, these people are pacifists. They don't fight. Like, please don't hurt them.
And also, he says, Buddy asks, why is he on the list if he doesn't fight? And the Rando is like, he built a community without ever fighting, and now there's a whole village. Like, it takes a lot and a lot of effort to do that in this world. So that's why he's here. It's out of respect.
Mm-hmm. And that, like, reinforces the whole point of, like, these people aren't warlords in the sense that they're violent and domineering as much as they just have influence, and that you are actively ruining everything by killing them.
Yeah, it's in Mr. Beautiful's case, it's very much like there is absolutely no meaning in you crossing his name off the list by having killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, any of the other warlords could have went in, declared war on him and taken him out, but that's not what this is about.
And there's a really cool bit as you're going through Mr. Beautiful's area where you'll encounter, like, just the people that live in this village, and every time you walk by one of them, you get a text box that's like, fight, don't fight. Or it might not even be fight, don't fight. It's probably kill, don't kill. Yeah. And you have to, like, actively press down on the D-pad to select don't kill, because killing is her first instinct. And that is sick as fuck. You get to fucking Mr. Beautiful and... Or wait. Oh, one of them's mutated from Joy.
Yeah, there is a Joy mutant that's already started a rampage.
Yeah.
It makes you feel slightly better about the whole thing, the whole invasion thing, because you're actually saving these people, but still.
You're saving people from the Joy mutant, but you are still killing Mr. Beautiful, their leader.
Yeah, it's very slightly better. We're still not out of the negative.
Yeah. And then after you kill the third warlord, you get, another scene where one of the bodies that ends up showing up near the list is the guy who had assaulted Buddy. That was, like, one of Rando's friends that the other ones killed, and he recognizes him and, like, says his name, at which point Buddy, like, recognizes that as the guy who had assaulted her, and she gets suspicious of Rando, that, like, he knew who he was. Because at this point, like we said, she assumed that this was just a random group of people that kidnapped them and separated them, not that they were like taking care of Rando.
Yeah.
And we get another campfire scene where Rando asks Buddy to stop her quest, like she's done enough damage and she has enough power. And Buddy has this sick line where she's like, "You do have one thing right. I have power, and I have a lot of power, and I will create my own future and my own world."
Yeah.
And the conversation continues a bit, and she's like, "I'm only showing these men the same compassion they've shown me. If I didn't stand up for myself, I would have been beaten and raped countless times by now." And after she says that, she goes to sleep. And when you come to, Rando has left the party.
Yeah. Like before she goes to sleep, Rando is like, "Yeah, no, okay, you are right, buddy. I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
Like, he basically gives in.
Yeah, he gives up.
Like, the thing is, the way Rando tries to convince Buddy is by being very indirect, by trying to appeal to like her common sense or whatever. Like, he's not being a hard-pressed. He's not telling her, "You're destroying this place. You are destroying everything. You're like, this is what you're doing is horrible." He's trying to not go hard line on this, but it is not working at all. And he's not wrong to not take the hard line, because like the hard line was Brad, and Buddy fucking hated being suppressed by Brad and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the soft line isn't working out at all either.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's basically like trying to appeal to her sense of empathy, which at this point she does not have, at least to that degree. Certainly not for these people who have shown her none.
yeah. Did you leave the mask on for all of your playthrough?
I took it off once Rando left.
Me too. Interesting. Did something interesting come out of it?
Not that I can think of. What are you implying?
Dude, oh man. So basically, I was like, damn, well, everyone is I'm attacking everyone on sight anyway in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter that I take my mask off or not. But there is, in the first area, there is an optional zone which doesn't have a warlord in it, where there's a dude that sells some whiskey and stuff
Mm-hmm.
at a bar. If you go in that area and without the mask, he goes, "Oh shit," and immediately attacks you.
Oh.
attacks you. And he does attacks like licking you
Yeah.
and stroking you and all this awful stuff. He's basically trying to rape you as he's trying to deal you damage.
Yeah, I fought him, but I
And-
wasn't sure if it was... I didn't realize or even think about the fact that it was because I had taken the mask off. That's crazy.
Like, yeah, but like if you can meet him and have a like, it doesn't, if you have the mask on, like, he will never do anything. But the moment you put the mask off, it's like I had this experience with like, oh, like if I'm going to fight anyway, whether people are being gross to me or not, it doesn't matter. So the mask doesn't benefit me in any way. But then the game like put me in this awful position of like, oh no, they're licking me, they're struggling. No, this is awful. Just fight me like normally, bloody and shit. But no, like the dude tries to rape me, and it's like the gamified kind of the fucking danger that Buddy feels, you know, because at this point of the game, I am not feeling that sympathetic towards Buddy's whole murderous quest, because it's a fucking murderous quest. I'm more on Rando's side.
Mm-hmm.
But when that shit happens, I'm like, she kind of has a point.
Yeah. I mean, it's very much one of those stories where it's like, I'm horrified at what you're doing, but at the same time, fuck them up.
Yeah. And the fuck him up she does.
Man, okay. So there's some cool stuff in the second area. You meet Larry Stintz, Terry Hintz's brother, who he does not get along with.
Mm-hmm.
Something can happen if you wear, because you can find like a Terry Hint mask somewhere. Something could happen if you wear that.
I did that.
Oh yeah, what happens?
He looks at me like, oh man, your fashion is fucking disgusting. Take this and get out of here.
Uh-huh.
And he gives you like a pill that, like, the description says, to help vomit something that you don't want. And I don't know what you're supposed to do with it, honestly.
That's part of the definitive edition stuff.
Okay.
In the painful, I don't know if there's any prerequisite other than going to the very first campfire to start it, but in the joyful you have to do do a collection quest essentially. So I ended up not doing the definitive edition content myself in the joyful, not because like I tried it and it was too hard for my save, but it was because you literally like have to have started doing it from the beginning, from what I can tell. Because there's something, one of the items you need is something that can randomly be given to you by using Lardy's Warlord skill. And at that point in the game, I had no people left to fight. So I was like, I don't know how I can get this item. So I guess I'll just watch it on YouTube. So yeah, Larry Stints is funny. There's also, we get another one of those very long ropes that was in the painful. And this one is honestly kind of sweet. You get to the top of the rope.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
I think it's sweet. I think it's sweet.
You get to the top of the rope, and oh, there's not a middle finger. I'm climbing back up this zone, and then at the very end of the zone, before the transition to the screen on the right, there is a panel that's like, I swear this isn't a trick this time. I'm so glad, so happy that people are playing these things that I've created. It's such an amazing feeling. I couldn't describe. I hope I take joy in that my game will make you feel something, anything. No, it's sweet. But then you go to the right and
it's another middle finger. Fantastic. And then of course you cannot jump off the side. You have to climb back down the rope. Which I feel like is even longer than the one in the painful.
Oh yeah, because you can sprint while doing it this time.
Oh, true. Yeah. Fuck.
And at least the game leaves the music on this time.
There's this other cool detail in Area 2 where like throughout the painful and I think a little bit in the joyful, you have like the posters of Buddy everywhere that are like wanted girl. And those posters of Buddy show up again, but this time if you interact with them, the message on it is a warning not to underestimate her, which is really cool.
Yeah, one of them is like, don't be a child fucking killer on sight or something.
Yeah.
It's like, it is cool, but it's another way that it shows your impact on the world. And starting the second half of the game, when you killed 3 warlords, the area around gets really fucked up. There are some dead bodies lying around. There are more and more mutant, like joy mutant, that are some that are alive, but like most that are dead, but like with lots of weapons lying around. Like there is basically more chaos and more struggle to survive around. There is this cool bit where like I don't remember at which point exactly, if it's like when you start the second half or if it's a bit later on, but like in the hub area where you choose which warlord to pick, there's this merchant that's been here in the first game in Lisa the Painful, that's hiding behind a drawer, and that carries always his drawer in the back because that's where all his stuff is. You go and talk to him, and he's a joy mutant.
Yep.
Like he gets up in the same way, but his face is all fucked up. That jump scared me.
Yeah, that was particularly rough because I had passed by him. So another interesting thing to talk about here is this was very much designed with the use of joy in mind. You were using joy, right?
Yeah.
This time around, I decided not to, just to see if I could.
Oof.
And so one of the most important parts of joy, especially in this, since you're alone, is not just the buffs it gives you, but also it fully heals you when you use it.
Yeah.
So I was like not using joy this whole time, and I basically had no fucking healing items. So because other than joy, which I was trying not to use, so I was like, oh, that merchant was there, let me go buy some jerky from him. And so I fucking interacted with him, and he's a joy mutant. I'm like, oh, not only is he an enemy, but he's a tough fucking enemy. And it had been a
Yep.
while since I saved, but you know what, I fucking crushed it. At this point, I had like mastered the timing of her throat slash,
Fuck.
and I basically like 2 or 3 shot him with just like the super crits you can do.
Savage.
The other thing too is part of her moveset is that you can do like a flurry of blows that, if you're not on joy, basically miss no matter what, but like you don't have to do the timing mechanic, and it's like a bunch, like multiple hard hitting attacks if they land. So like if you're on joy, those are totally worth using because you just do a shit ton of damage. But for me, they were essentially useless the whole time because they would just miss if you're not on joy. So I really had to master the timing of the throat slash.
So, since you're not on joy, do you use alcohol?
I wasn't
Like as a
using
TP
anything.
user, do you?
No. I've
Interesting.
basically never used alcohol to charge TP because like I feel like the accuracy loss from alcohol like offsets having TP for me. So my basically
Okay.
my move, especially in this, is like normal attack for the first turn. By time I have a second turn, I have enough for the like fatal attack or whatever it's called. And then
Yeah.
like when you get hit, you regain TP also. So I generally had enough to be doing like a super crit every other turn, more or less.
Yeah, okay. There's also this ability that Mr. Beautiful gives you that's really interesting, which is Pacify.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it so that neither you nor your enemy can attack for 2 turns, and that gives you a turn to basically use a free item
I
most of the time.
fucking needed that in the
Yeah, no
second half of
shit.
the game, especially because in area 2 is where the message that just says use joy shows up on the wall, because it is very much a step up in difficulty from area 1.
Yeah.
And so that like Mr.
Not only that, but Rondo isn't here anymore.
Yeah, you're alone. And everyone is way harder because you're like at the top of the list where everyone is the strongest. So at this point I was like thanking fucking the powers that be that I had that warlord skill, because also if you level up enough you get a skill that heals you a little bit. So
Yeah.
I was basically like charging up my TP as much as possible, pacifying and healing during the pacifism, and then like getting back into the fight. And I'm proud to say I made it through the whole thing not using joy a single time.
Hell yeah.
And the thing that is different is that you need to not use joy in order to see the definitive edition content, which I didn't even end up doing myself anyways. But it was a fun challenge.
Nice. If it's a fun challenge, then it was worth it. I wish this game. I understand why is it that the side content of the definitive edition and stuff isn't in the main path, because like you will need to care about the game and the story in the first place to want this content, and like I could understand that it would be like it needs time, and you would need to finish the game at least once to like kind of macerate on the story before wanting more of it. I think this is a valid reason to not put the definitive content on the main path, but I feel like the game, like it, the series of things you need to do in the Joyful, I read it up on the wiki, like the series of things you need to do to get the content is obscure. Like it feels
Yeah.
like the game is actively hiding it from you. And
I think
I don't
so.
know. I don't feel like this game. I feel like this game isn't like the reason Dark Souls actively hide things from stuff is to create a sense of wonder. I don't think this game really justifies well the reason why the content is so obscurely hidden.
I think it's kind of counterproductive in the Joyful, especially because the Joyful is all like momentum. Like it's go, 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 kill, kill, kill. And so
Yeah.
to be like, I wonder what happens if I interact with Larry while wearing Terry's mask. Like, or like experimenting with Lardy's warlord skill. Like it's very much like, yeah, you need to have had a guide to do this.
Yeah.
But, you know, this also released in I don't how the fuck do you even say this? The 2020s. So
The 2020s.
so it's very much like, you know, a lot of games are being designed under the assumption that you're going to have a guide to look up.
That's fair. And yeah, as you said, several years after the original games came out, so you need to have cared about the thing in the first place.
Yeah.
This isn't an Undertale situation where the game came out with, you know, the pacifist ending and the genocide ending on release.
Uh-huh.
It's not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
But still, as me playing the game right now currently, and this is my first Lisa experience, I do held in higher regard Undertale in the way that it told its story and the way it made me play again, but indirectly, like through the means of the game and the characters.
Sure. I do think they're very different approaches to what the game is. But yeah.
I mean, it's both are RPGs that are trying to do something really interesting with their characters and the emotional beats you get from your connection with said characters. Like,
I just mean in the sense of like Undertale is the way it is because like that's baked in, whereas we're talking about DLC that came out a decade later.
Yeah, but this is my petty opinion as a player that isn't playing this game as DLC. It's playing this game as like, oh, this is Lisa the Definitive Edition. There are two parts of it, and that's just how it is. It's just my experience as a player. I know it's subjective and wrong, but it's also right.
Sure, yeah. So who was the first warlord you killed in Area 2?
Dice.
Me too. I think like you could tackle this in any order, but it is very clearly like pathing you to a certain order, just in the way that like the holes and caves are set up in these maps.
Yeah.
And Dice is very much the obvious first choice here.
I just want to bring it up before that. So we brought up the Terry mask. To get the Terry mask, you need to get to an area that's protected by a very strong Joy mutant that I ended up getting, and then you get to the Land of Hints.
Yeah.
That area is fucked up, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of my favorite music in the game too.
Ooh.
It also plays during the mutant fight of the Joy mutant protecting the area. It's basically an area that's filled with hints, but there are hints like how to not get depressed, and basically as you read the hints, it's like, oh, the guy writing the hints has no fucking clue how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And they're basically losing their mind. It's very sad, but yeah. It also makes it more powerful. The scene that I sent you of at the campfire in Lisa the Painful
with Terry.
With Terry.
Yeah, that was really good. I wish I had gotten that one, but I'm happy to have seen it. If you have Terry in Area 2 of The Painful, you can have a campfire conversation where he and Brad have a heart-to-heart, and it's very sweet.
It's not Area 2, it's Area 3.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Area 3. It's the campfire, with all the Lisas looking at you.
Yeah, there is an interesting thing in that scene where Terry hugs Brad. So then, at the end of the game, Brad says he's never been held before, which is just a betrayal of him and Terry's relationship, if you had that moment happen.
Do you think if you had that moment happen, that scene is different?
I don't know. I can't imagine. That would be a lot.
No, and actually, I can confirm that it's not the case because the walkthrough I watched is the same when I rewatched the ending. So, no.
Dice Mahone is interesting because he's a Joy mutant. It's about all I have to say about him.
Yeah. You get the skill, the war skill you get from him. At first, I was like, oh hell yeah, it's broken because it afflicts you with a random status effect in exchange of TP, and I was like, sure, I can take some poison or some blindness or whatever for a while in exchange of TP, But one of the negative status you can have is also fear and stun.
Yeah.
And these are extremely bad.
Uh-huh.
So I stopped using that skill very quickly.
Yeah, I didn't really end up using almost any warlord skills aside from Mr. Beautiful's.
Oh, see, even Big Lincolns.
What is Big Lincoln's? I don't remember what it is.
What the fuck? It's you guard, so you get the bonus of guard, and also when you take damage, you restore TP, and the more damage you take, the more TP you get.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't.
So
use that.
it's a way more reliable way to get TP than the fucking dice roll. But at this point of the game, there is almost no enemy left.
Yeah, between that and at this point, I have a very effective like cycle of TP building. It just wasn't very useful to me.
So which is the second warlord you did?
Second warlord was Cindy Gallows, who was fucking. That one is sick. I definitely like. I remembered which one Big Lincoln was, so I saved that for last. But Cindy Gallows is fucking sick because you go in and you find that he's already been like hung, and there's 4 guys around him who have like filled him with arrows and hung him, and then you fight the 4 guys. And this is like the first time in the Joyful that you fight more than one person at a time.
Yeah,
at least
it's
with
a
Buddy
pretty
alone.
hard fight.
It's very
with the arrows.
It's very tough, especially without Joy.
Mm-hmm.
But after you kill the 4 guys, Buddy starts walking away like Cindy's already dead, whatever. And then Cindy looks up and goes, "Hey kid, I didn't get on that list by being a goddamn pussy," and starts fighting you.
Yeah. And he basically spits at you and shit with his things.
Which is really
But he's tough.
Yeah, it's really sick. Also really funny that being a pussy means hung and having 9 arrows stuck in your body. Yeah, it's sick as hell.
Yeah. Also, Cindy Gallows. Haha. He's
yeah.
And actually, Cindy Gallows is the last warlord I did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I couldn't find him. Because you need to jump down a hole to get to
Oh,
him.
yeah.
And again, I didn't know I had to do it, so I actually had to look up a walkthrough because I was stuck. I was like, where the fuck am I supposed to go?
I mean, all the warlords have a little, like, painting on the wall near their door, and Cindy Gallows's has a painting with a literal arrow that points into the hole you need to jump into.
I don't care about obvious hints from the game, Jacob. I've been taught severely that jumping down holes and falling to your death is an insta-kill in a game with limited checkpoints, okay?
Yeah.
I was traumatized.
Yeah, but this one doesn't have limited checkpoints.
Fuck you. But yeah.
So after you kill the second warlord and you only have 1 left, all the walls have like kill, kill, kill written on them. Everything is fucked up. Piles of mutants and bodies everywhere. And on your way...
Buddy starts to have kind of hallucinations, I feel like. I mean, especially when the list is fully completed, but like she will read certain messages on the wall, for example, the ones that you used to say use joy or whatever, and they will be like, kill them all, do not stop, or don't think too hard about, like, don't remember exactly, but like things that feel like especially targeted towards Buddy's vulnerabilities.
Yeah, it's funny. It reminds me of the like loading screen messages in Spec Ops: The Line. Have you ever played that game?
I haven't, but I watched the Jacob Geller's video.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Throughout that game, because this is also a game where you're playing as a character who's like descending into madness, but like the loading screens would have hints in them, and in the first it's like, you know, shoot your gun to kill someone, or like shoot at barrels to make them explode. But like as you get further in the game, it's like, they did this to you, do you feel like a hero yet? Like stuff like that. And so this is like happening with Buddy too, where like these messages used to just give you some like little tips or whatever, and now they're telling you to kill everyone and that it's not your fault and whatever. Pretty sick. But on your way back, once you only have 1 warlord left, you end up encountering Rando again, who has been like tied up with barbed wire, like very brutal looking, hanging over
Yeah.
like a really high ledge.
And his face, you can see his, messed up face.
Yeah.
Like,
And the guy from the beginning of the game, one of the opportunists, shows up to assault Buddy while she holds on to Rando, and you get a choice whether to
Yeah.
hold on or to drop him.
Rando is held on by barbed wire, and the wire is about to snap, and so
Yeah.
Buddy has to like hold on to the wire with her bare hands, and she's holding tight, and like but she has no means really of getting Rando to get up, and like
Yeah, she's just kind of holding on to him.
Rando is telling her, no, you need to let go. You need to let go. I have something important to say before I die. We don't have much time, but Buddy is like really stubborn and really like, no, I'm not letting go of this.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and so after that, the guy shows up and is basically like, ooh, while your hands are busy, I can do whatever I want to you. And you get the choice whether to hold on to Rando or to drop him.
The wording of the choice is like, hold on tight or drop it. And the hold on tight is really like holding on to barbed wire as she's getting raped from behind is, again, I didn't expect this game to make me do another double take after what it made me choose in The Painful, but this one, horrible.
So did you hold on or did you drop him?
I love Rando, man. So I held on.
So you hold on, and the guy like walks up to Buddy and is like, ooh la la, and then the camera like pans away. Like basically the first time the camera acts on its own in the entire game.
Yeah.
It like pans over to the map to the left so that you don't see it, and then I don't even remember what the text box says, but there's like a huh, and then the camera pans back and the Joy Mutant from the beginning of the game has come in and like beheaded the guy before he could touch Buddy, and then just like fucks off.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
So finally
What did you choose?
well, we'll get there. So
Okay.
now that guy is gone, Rando has his chance to confess what he wanted to, which is that essentially the guys who kidnapped them were his buddies and it was his plan. Like, or actually, I don't even know if it was that as much as the kidnapping at the very beginning of The Painful was his plan.
That could be interesting if he meant that.
Yeah.
But what he said, the specific wording he used is that he was in on it, which is a very specific way of saying that, like, oh, I was collaborating with the people that kidnapped you and may or may not have wanted to rape you.
And at that point, I don't think you even have a choice. She just drops him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she drops him, and then there's like a rope to the right of where he was hanging from that you can climb down to go like see him. And
he's still alive.
He's still alive, barely. And he like apologizes and like repeats some of Brad's words about not wanting to hurt her and just wanting her to be safe. And she asks him like, why are you saying what he said? And the background changes to like the intestinal image that starts appearing when Brad is like descending into madness. And then she starts like beating Rando while calling him Brad, and
she ends up ending his life,
and he dies.
Man, heart-wrenching.
Rip my boy Rando.
Yeah,
he'll be missed.
This is especially like at this part of the game I was kind of getting bored because like, I mean, not bored, but like, I was stuck for a while trying to find that second warlord, and there's not Rando with me, so like when I rest at a camp, like there's nothing happening. By the way, when you rest at a camp without Rando, you get stung by a spider or whatever, which means you get poisoned because he's not here to look over you. And it's just really a sad and lonely experience. It feels kind of like shit,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see Rando, and and he's alive, but he's turned strung up, and you want to save him, but then dude shows up to rape you, but you held on tight anyway. But then Buddy just ends up dropping him. And when I went back down that rope, I expected just to see his body and to get some flavor taste, but no, you have this whole conversation, and Buddy ends up finishing him off herself, and that's so awful. But it's it is what she will do, like it is one of the cases where despite rooting for her, she is projecting onto Rando her own trauma. She's projecting onto Rando what Brad did to her, and that's unfair, but she is a child. That's what she will do.
It's also not uncommon among siblings who are the children of abusive parents to end up abusing each other through projection and blaming and envy.
I can personally state that it is in fact true. That I did not look at it this way, but it's obvious.
It's a cycle. So after that, you go and kill the final warlord, which for me was Big Lincoln, who was fucking cool as shit.
So he is fucking cool. I didn't expect the final boss of the area to be the ultimate fury.
Yeah, he's got like a sick wolf mask, with like eyes glowing red through it. You also, for me, because Big Lincoln was my final warlord, like right outside the door to his area, there was like an image of Brad and Rando sitting there just watching you, which was cool.
Yeah, like when you get to the last warlord before ending the list, you see sometimes, you will see like Brad when he's zombie, like at the end of the Painful, at some place. Like Buddy is very much having some psychological damage at this point.
But yeah, fighting Big Lincoln was where I really felt like the most badass also, because that was when I was like perfectly timing the super crit every fucking time. I didn't need to use Mr. Beautiful's pacify skill to heal at all. It was sick. I felt like a god gamer here, and it was epic.
That is god gamer material.
I was one with Buddy in our murder quest. One thing we've failed to mention so far is whenever you kill a warlord, the screen will be black and it'll be like 5 left, or like however many are left on the list. And when you kill...
That feels really cool.
Yeah, when you kill the final warlord, the text is just, "The list is finished." And you teleport back to the list and every name is crossed off and the piles of bodies have just gotten higher. Everything is so much more devastated and fucked up. And you're also seeing
Sticky and Ricky.
Yeah, you're seeing the corpses of like your friends or like just people you've known. Like, I don't know how much of it is psychological compared to how much of it is like that you've genuinely ruined the world and everyone has killed each other, because there's no order anymore. But yeah, it's just this like rough scene,
and you see Brad and Rando that are at the very top of the list, and they're not looking fucked up at all, but they're looking down. Like both of them are looking down, and this image of Buddy at the bottom of the list, with all the names crossed off, all the bodies everywhere, and Brad and Rando looking down. This particular image, is on Steam's front page of Lisa the Painful. And, I've heard of this game because I was on the internet, because I was following Super Hypertrophy Friendo like years ago, like 5 or 4 years ago. And I forgot about almost everything about this game except this image, because this image was on the Steam front page. It is such a fucking striking, insane image.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
And at this point, once all the names are crossed off, there are some weird ass flags with sort of a red and green. Ugly, I have to say green because I like green. This is an ugly ass yellowish fluorescent green. I need to point it out because otherwise green is good. and you see those ugly ass flags on the list, and there is this fucking trumpet sound.
Yep.
Coming from the left, and that's the final. You enter the final part of the game. It's a very linear experience, and I think it's a better video game than Lisa the Painful. I mean, it's easier. Like, it doesn't have as many stakes because it doesn't want you to feel attachment to your companions. So of course it's easier to make or whatever. But globally speaking, I felt like I was getting the intended experience compared to Lisa the Painful, where I was really struggling.
It's certainly more consistently fun throughout. For me, this is a kind of weird like comparison, but
Go ahead.
oh man, I don't even know. It's such a tangent. For me, it
Do
feels
it.
like part 5 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where at least the anime, the manga's kind of rough for part 5, but like every other part of JoJo's for me has, you know, a lot of good, but a lot of like just garbage ass shit that you have to endure to get through it. Whereas part 5, like nothing in part 5 is as impactful as like the most impactful moments of other parts for me, but part 5, the anime at least, is just so consistent, and like the pace is so good, and the momentum it has just carries it all the way through, that like when I think of the anime, it's probably my favorite part because it just doesn't have the baggage of some of the others. Which is kind of how I feel about the Joyful, where it's just like a more consistently enjoyable experience, but as impactful as some moments in it are don't quite reach the high impact that the Painful does for me.
Yeah. I vibe with your JoJo comparison, except that I feel that about 4, JoJo part 4, and the rest of the JoJo's
watch
rather than part 5.
Watch the fucking Ghost Picture Dad arc and tell me you feel the same way about part 4.
Dude, watch any of the explanation of the powers of part 5 starting halfway through, where with Gas Dude, Girl Dude, Giorno Dude who doesn't know what the fuck his power is anymore, the fucking bullshit Time Lord at the end, zombie Brionac Chili or whatever his name is.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think like all of that is just stuff that is consistent with all of JoJo's, whereas for me, like JoJo's is so in like every other part content with like, oh, they're about to fight the final bad guy, but now we have to fight a bunch of other stands instead. Which, I mean, is also the case in part 5, but like, I don't know. They're more fun for me than the Ghost Dad stands in part 4, or the Cairo stands in part 3, or the fucking Dio babies in part 6. Fuck the Dio babies.
I'm not gonna ask. I haven't watched part 6 yet.
Oh.
I would argue that part 3 has a... Before we're gonna stop the JoJo tangent, I swear. But like, I would argue that part 3's last stretch towards Zio is the best between part 1 to part 5.
I don't know.
Like,
I hated
like
that Iggy versus Eagle fight.
Seriously? It's awesome!
Nah, it sucks. Fuck Iggy.
I mean, fuck Iggy. But it's awesome. It's a eagle. It's an eagle versus a dog death battle, and both have superpowers.
Yeah.
End of the JoJo tangent. Guys, we'll be talking about JoJo.
Nah.
Never.
Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah. There we go.
I think there are enough podcasts out there about JoJo.
Yes.
You will find your way.
Yeah. So, anyways, you go towards the fucking trumpet noise.
Yeah.
And you see a guy playing trumpet who is next to like the same Joy mutant that's been kind of showing up throughout the Joyful, and he looks at you and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you haven't turned." And then I don't remember even like what he says exactly as, but he
Go ahead, sweetheart.
yeah.
But-
So he sicks the joy mutant on you and you fight it. You fight it for a little bit, and then Buzzo hops in to save you and help you fight it. And then he goes, Yado has a vaccine, and you're like, okay. So you leave the fight and you pursue Yado, who at this point is sitting on like a throne of joy mutants.
that look like completely like at this point they look so like they don't even look they look barely humans anymore. They look more like bags of skins that are topped on that are piled onto one another because of how flaccid they are, and it makes a sort of hill on which he is on top. And this guy Yado looks really fucking weird. He's kind of bald but has hairs on the sides. He looks emaciated. He has this weird trumpet for some reason that he was playing earlier.
He's a bit of a
And-
freak for sure.
Yeah, do you want to describe what happens next, or?
I mean, he gives you some lore dump that I don't care about, and then Buddy vibes with me on that and says, I don't care who you are, I want that throne, and you start fighting Yado.
Yeah, like I actually really like that interaction. At this point, Yado doesn't give you any lore dump. At this point, Yado is like, wait, you're not that strong. Why are you here?
Oh, yeah.
And Buddy's like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, no, you can't be here. If you don't go away, I'll... And then he looks away. I'll kill you. And Buddy's like, ha, how's that?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll... And she interrupts him. Of all the men I've seen so far, you're the most pathetic one. You can't even look me in the eyes as you threaten me. Fine, I don't care who you are. And then it flashes the intestines. I want that throne.
Yeah.
And then it flashes to the battle. And that is so fucking cool.
And it's sick too. You're fighting him, and for the first bit, he's like not doing anything. But then you start getting the message that Buddy's head hurts, and after that is when he starts like commanding the other joy mutants to start attacking you. And you're fighting him while he's like commanding them, and you start like succumbing to the joy, which for me was interesting since I hadn't taken any. Like, I know canonically Buddy has taken some before, but it's interesting. It's interesting to me that it was like theoretically she had just taken the one pill, because
yeah.
and then like not taken any for a while, but like it gets to her anyways.
But it feels also like it may not be necessarily the joy, because when her head starts to hurt and she's like, you can't control yourself, and says you can't control yourself anymore, like you start seeing it's at this point you see Rando replace most of the sprite of Yado and the Newtons occupied, like. And it's so horrifying and sweet because it's like you see Rando's face and all of his fucked up skin is stretched around the sprite, and instead of the weird ass trumpet, it's the flower from the beginning of the game that Brad carries around, and you have this really sweet theme that starts to play, and it's actually Rando's song in the soundtrack. It's called, and
Rando spends half of his turns crying instead of attacking you.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really like Buddy that's like I think this moment really only works if you kill Rando yourself. Like if you go down there to kill him.
Yeah.
Because like it's getting up to her. Everything, all the guilt and feelings that she's repressed, because this is what ultimately this game is about, is that by trying to dominate and by trying to achieve self-determination through violence, what you're really end up doing is that you're isolating yourself. You're trying to repress all those feelings, and you are not confronting them. You are running away from them, but they cut up to you. As some, to quote some writing from the definitive edition content, it's like whatever it is that you let grow will eventually take control.
Mm-hmm.
And so you end up beating the Rando's vision, and he's like, "Good luck, sis."
Yeah.
Rando's the best.
And at that point, you're full psychosis. You awaken the Evangelion ocean of blood, but it has like a bunch of those flowers that Brad had at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk through the ocean of blood for a bit, and you encounter Brad from like right before he mutated, but instead of arrows sticking out of him, it's flowers. And you fight him, and I don't think he even fights back. You just like pummel on him, and as you're doing so, he's like transforming. Like you start there with his like state at the end of the painful, but throughout the fight it's like he transforms back into his younger self with
Actually,
hair.
well, yeah, like at the very beginning of the fight, he's with the hair, but like before that, he wasn't. And also, you know how the game plays with him being a nobody and then a failure. Like
Yeah,
he plays around with that too.
it like changes his name as you progress.
It's and there is such a. This is one of my favorite soundtrack in the game. I know it's kind of a normie take because it doesn't go as insane with the instruments and shit as over plenty of other songs from this game, but it's such a sweet melancholic song because as this sweet melancholic song plays, like Brad says, like for example, "Yup, buddy, that's that's what I chose. That's what I called you when you were a baby all this time. I guess it just stuck. This is why he named it Buddy, because you're his little buddy. That's just what he called you."
And then he like transforms, he loses his hair, and he's just like looking at his joy while you beat him up. And at this point, like, the only move he does is to take joy to heal some of the damage you've inflicted upon him. And then after a bit of that, he changes again to the time when he was raising Buddy, that he was sober and she had like put makeup on him, and his name changes from Brad to Dad. And his moves become hugging you and comforting you, which I think heals you if you go into it not at full health.
And it's like, and but he is also like, "No, don't call me that. That's weird,
Yeah.
Brad. Call me Brad." Like he never let her call him Dad, despite her seeing him as such.
And one thing throughout the game is, as is typical in RPGs like this, one of the things you can do is try to escape from the battle. But during this section, that option is completely gone. Like, you cannot use it. You have to kill him.
Mm.
And he has some line of dialogue where he brings up Dusty, and he tells you like never to go near your uncles again, and he changes back to like the beaten bloody form at the end of the painful, and his name goes back to being the nobody. And at this
Yeah.
point, his moves are just to cry and punch himself. And at the end of the fight, he has this dialogue that I wrote down. "I was completely lost before I found you. That's why when I look into your eyes, it's the scariest feeling in the world. It's why I buried myself so deep into the darkness. No matter what, I really did love you with all my heart. I'm so sorry I failed you, buddy. I miss you so much."
That really hit like a gun punch.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I think most of the fighting the darkness that you see is a, how should I put it? It's what you see at the very intro of the game when you see him dropping the joy from the cliff,
Yeah.
him trying to be better. And you don't really see that again in the game, but I think it's because like it's also the game trying to kind of echo your experience as the player to not take joy if you do a joyless playthrough. But that, I mean, I see that in theory. I didn't experience it, but still, that's such a. Yeah, I don't know what to comment on that. It just made me feel very sad
It hits.
for for Buddy.
Yeah, makes me feel bad for Buddy. Makes me feel bad for Brad too. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so after that, uh, we like come back to reality, and Yado is like running away past like the cave where Rando and Buddy hid from the Joy Mutant at the beginning. And if you go in there, you get another like image of Brad standing there holding Rando's mask. Uh, um, and and then you encounter Yado, and he basically tells you like he's your real father and that he's a man of science, and he starts trying to lore dump you. But like in the middle of that, Buzzo throws a katana at his head, and he fucking dies or like falls off a cliff.
And I wish that was for the lore dump, but unfortunately,
Yeah. Um, and Buzzo like stumbles in from the right, like covered in blood, missing an arm, just like Brad, and he like gets on his knees, and he's basically just like, Brad was a good person. It's Lisa's fault for everything that's wrong with me.
yeah, like what struck out to me as weird was like him saying that Brad was that everything, like Brad didn't deserve all the things he did to him, and at this point I still wasn't certain what the reason why this dude had in it for Brad. So him out of the blue saying all of this stuff was really bewildering to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's this about? Once you have the context, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But
And he says like, when she died, I had to blame anyone but myself. Brad never deserved the pain I caused him. Uh and at this point, if you haven't done the definitive edition, he mutates and attacks you. But if you have done the definitive edition content for the Joyful, which we don't have to cover in that much detail because it's not quite as impactful as the Painfuls, but Buddy essentially in her nightmare sequence learns about Lisa and learns about like Brad's childhood and like Buzzo and Rando's childhood. Uh so if you had done all this stuff already, after he says that shit, Buddy just like lays into him. Like,
oh god,
it's so fucking sick. It's like
of all, like there are some there are some utterly planet destroying levels of psychological damage that this game reaches in its dialogues, especially coming from Buddy to Brad and from like Sticky to Brad and shit. This stops all of them.
Yeah, she's like,
Jesus fucking Christ.
The thing I fucking love is like, one, she tells him like blaming everything on Lisa is a bullshit excuse, and then she's just like, Lisa was just some dumb girl.
What she says at the very end is like, I'll be honest, I don't know Lisa, but as a woman, I can say this.
Oh yeah.
She didn't deserve a guy like you. As a matter of fact, maybe if it weren't for you, she'd still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and Buzzo is like freaking out because he tried to basically say all of his last words to excuse himself basically to Buddy. But at this point, he's like freaking out and in this utter distraught at this onslaught of shit that Buddy throws at him. Mm-hmm. And then
and she's fucking
freaks
right.
out and turns. I mean, I can't, due to like how the way I've learned that's kind of the backstory that's kind of disjointed. I don't know that she's right, but
well,
it sure feels
I
like
shouldn't say she's right about like if he wasn't there she'd still be around, as much as she's right about him like putting everything on Lisa and Brad is just bullshit, and he's clearly just like a fucking psychopath that is blaming everything on anyone but himself.
But also she has this fucking line about Brad that she's like, you're just like Brad. But also, Brad knew what true pain was.
Mm-hmm.
At this very last moment, I could feel him here. And fuck, she sheds a tear.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell how much my dad loved me at this moment. And she sheds another tear from her fucked up eye.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then she's like, but you don't know true love. You didn't love Lisa. You're an empty sack of shit, basically.
Yep.
And well, whether you did the definitive content or not, you fight Buzzo's mutant, which isn't that tough because he spends most of the time beating himself and crying.
Yeah.
But his sprites look horrific.
Yeah, because he transforms, like, he mutates and then, like, mutates again during the fight.
Yeah.
And when he mutates the second time, his name changes to Bernie, which is interesting.
Oh, I guess that's the name he had as his nickname as a child.
Yeah.
When it wasn't Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when you kill him, his death message is just, I'm free. After this, you get another vision of Brad and Rando who show up, and they beg her not to leave them, and at this point, like, she has found the vaccine and is holding it, and your options are leave them or join them.
Yeah. It's also interesting because, like, they say stuff like, buddy, we're sorry, we were wrong, you are right, you're strong, you're the queen, you like basically it's kind of she's kind of doing the same thing as Buzzo, actually, which is interesting, where it's like she has those characters in her head that are retroactively justifying her actions to make her not feel bad, but those are psychological characters who want her to, like, just stay on the joy and join them, but that means it means mutating.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because, like, Buddy, like, has been running away from her own feelings and stuff, but the way she has to move forward is to get rid of the phantoms of those people, at least the phantoms she's made herself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also, I think, it ties into why is it that she needs to fight Brad and kill him, quote unquote, during that last section.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an abstract way, I guess. It's presented abstractly as, like, I don't want to say moving on because it sounds a bit cliche, and I think that as long as you don't try to describe it, like, I don't think you should even try to describe it with words. It's something that you have to feel. It's something that you have to feel for yourself in an abstract manner, because the tone of this game is very right. Like, I think stories of vengeance and moving on, whatever, can get very corny and very whatever. But here, because it's not trying to say so much, it feels so right. At this point, Buddy is like, I thought I was free. I thought this was it. Once all the list was done, once everything was done, and her having killed Yadu, I thought I would be free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After all that, you choose between taking the vaccine and not. I really don't want to know what happens if you don't take the vaccine and you decide to join them. That must be fucked up.
So historically, before this playthrough, I've always joined them, not taken the vaccine.
What the fuck?
I just feel like, one, I kind of think the vaccine is bullshit, if I'm being real. Like, it feels almost cowardly to not, like, make her have her comeuppance by mutating.
Look, hey, I will say that's very badass of you, but my feelings are easily hurt, and I want the best for Buddy, for my murderous, psychopathic little girl.
Me too, but also in every other playthrough of the Joyful I've done, I've taken about 40 joy pills and murdered 5 million people while on joy. So generally I'm just like, I don't know. I think like this is finishing the process, is just not taking the vaccine. So what happens if you don't take it is that you just get like a little image of Buddy who has mutated, and she's like holding a weird fucked up little baby that looks like essentially a clone of Yado.
Ew.
Yeah, whereas if you do take the vaccine, which I did this time because I hadn't been taking Joy the whole playthrough. So I was like, you know what? Buddy and I deserve to take the vaccine now. Because the initial Joy was kind of thrust upon her. It wasn't her choice to take it. If you do take it, then the scene instead is like Buddy holding Yado's trumpet and playing it for the mutated Brad, who is next to also the Yado clone sitting there.
Oh, he doesn't look like Yato's clone, the little baby.
He's like a little
it's
fucked
the
up
same
guy
baby.
with red eyes.
He does look a bit fucked up. I thought it was Buddy's child, but I guess not.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think Yado, because essentially what the like stupid bullshit lore I don't care about explains is that Yado had like made Buddy with like the actual last woman or something, and then he like also made this clone of himself to be with Buddy or something. But
Blech.
I don't know. Whatever. But there's also like the nice detail in the background where you see that like Buddy has clearly buried Buzzo nearby as well as Rando.
Yeah.
And she has left behind her sword and theoretically is not fighting anymore.
Good for her.
And then after the credits, we get like the lore dump conversation about the Flash, which I did not even bother writing notes for because I don't care.
I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell that it was about the Flash.
Mm-hmm. It's very cryptic. The other thing too is that you get a third ending if you did the definitive edition stuff. So I don't know if you have. I would assume you have to choose to take the vaccine to get this one, but instead the scene is like Buddy is being held by like a giant Lisa, essentially.
Yeah, a giant lady in blue,
Mhm.
in a gown. It's cool, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, a neat little thing.
I want to hang out a day or two inside there. Sounds like a peaceful time.
Looks comfy.
Looks comfy. You know what doesn't look comfy?
What?
The definitive edition of Lisa the Painful.
Yeah, okay. So it's time to get into that. But I guess like before we do like any last statements on the Joyful specifically.
Well, it was a much more concise experience, and I felt much better about it than the Painful. The highs were still pretty high for me, and I think the Joyful is a better video game, but there is this last third of the Painful that really profoundly impacted me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason the Joyful works is also in collaboration with the Painful, so it's, I don't know, it feels like a cohesive whole.
It essentially serves as just an act 4. You know, it's not even like a separate thing at all necessarily.
Yeah.
The thing that I do tend to get surprised by is like when I'm just thinking about the game in my like normal life, Painful is the one that I think about. It's the one that like struck the chord the hardest with me and like impacted me the most, because like there's a lot of impactful stuff in Joyful, but like Painful is one of those that like changed the way I think about things to a degree that Joyful didn't necessarily do. But every time I like go back to play the game, I start the Joyful and I'm like, oh yeah, this fucking rules. This is like this is peak fucking Lisa here when I'm actively playing the Joyful.
And you get to listen to 666 Kill Chop Deluxe.
Yes, sir. I love those fucking air horns. So
they are incredible.
So there's not really a whole lot I really want to go in depth about when it comes to the definitive edition content of the Painful, I really just want to focus on like the conversation at the end. Um, so in Lisa the Painful, if you had gone back and to the very first area and rested at that campfire, Brad gets like a nightmare sequence where you have to do some like kind of annoying like Lost Forest-esque puzzles, um and you fight like this mutated Save Crow that turns into a mutated Buzzo or whatever, and then you get this very nightmarish like super boss sequence, like essentially a raid boss almost, where you have to
Yeah.
you have to go through these trials of like fighting shadows of your party members and fighting Brad or Marty spiders, and then at the end you fight like this mountainous Marty mutant.
It looks so fucked up. Like they actually managed to like take Marty's overall character design and shape and somehow transform it into a literal mountain where like the different folds of its fat skin make like the shape and the texture of the mountain, and at the top the fucking what would be like the snow of the mountain is like just black hair of his beard,
Uh-huh.
and at the very top there's his little fucking head, and it looks fucking awesome and uh, gross.
Yeah, and he has like a million health or something, like not literally, but he has an insane amount of health.
Yeah.
And yeah, but if you manage to beat him, oh, also just to add to the grotesqueness of it, if you do enough damage to him, his like normal head sprouts out from the mountainous mutation and is like hanging on by his spinal cord and like swinging around, and it's fucking disgusting.
Yes.
But if you beat this, you get another one of those screens that is all black and a conversation is happening at the top and bottom where you get a conversation between Brad and Lisa, the only time they have ever genuinely interacted. And keep in mind, this came out almost a decade after the game came out, which really moves me that this was like kind of the final piece Dingaling has to say about this story. Is you get this conversation where Brad is basically just telling Lisa that he wants to run away, and they talk about a lot of things, but really specifically, one, this is also clearly the last conversation they ever had. And it kind of recontextualizes things and adds to the sense of guilt Brad feels, because this is likely why she killed herself, was because Brad wasn't there anymore to protect her. And also probably why Buzzo blames Brad so heavily for her suicide, is because he had left. But the thing I really wanted to talk about in this conversation is they start like reminiscing about this time where they had both gotten like super punished by Marty because Brad had gotten beaten up by bullies, and they tried to hide it by using their mom's makeup, and Marty found out and punished them both. And the part that really moved me especially was just when Brad is like, I didn't even care if he saw that my face had beaten up. I just wanted to play with my mom's things.
And Lisa just bursts out laughing at that.
Uh-huh. And then Lisa says that was the most fun she had ever had, was putting the makeup on Brad.
And it's also, I just wanted to mention, like, Lisa says how she wishes the grandpa Armstrong took in girls also for the dojo. And Brad is like, nah, it's all stupid. I hate fighting.
Yeah.
And between that and him saying he wanted to play with the mom stuff, I, f- I don't know if it's like too much reading into it, but I feel like at least like Brad was a sensible kid that wasn't at all getting along well with his masculinity
Yeah,
and with doing dude stuff.
that's where I get back to like, oh, this game is really doing something, because this is like a fucking Fight Club-esque tale of toxic masculinity, and it's like, with this scene and comparing this scene to like all the times in the game Brad ends up in drag, or at least has the possibility of it, and like the main thing you see him do with Buddy when they're on good terms is that she puts makeup on him, is like, Brad is this guy who has just had masculinity forced upon him, and like that ends up with him taking it to the extreme. And that is part of like what toxic masculinity is just that it is forced upon people. I would assume most men who end up being like so toxically machismo didn't start off with that being like their desirable position in life.
Yeah, it's I think that it's really, I haven't played this part myself, so I can't like say, oh yeah, um, this deserves to be here or whatever. But the fact that this conversation is buried so deep within the game is really worthy, because it's like, it's not, there is so much packed inside this conversation, so much, not just insight on these characters, but just feelings. Like, it hurts so much to read that when Brad is like, asks Lisa like, hey, I don't want you to promise me anything, I just want you to tell me you're doing okay. And she's like, I'm hanging in there. And it's like, I mean, kind of a sick pun, but
Yeah.
she ends up hanging herself. But it's like, she, at this moment when she asks Brad to make her promise something, it's like he makes her promise to take care of herself so that she would have a promise to keep, to not kill herself. Uh, Basically echoing what you were saying, that like this is the reason why Buzzo resents him so much.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, not only is it like content that's so obscured behind layers of like obscure things you have to do, but it's also obscured behind 9 fucking years of time between the release of the original game and the release of the definitive edition. And
Yeah, that is insane.
it's so moving to me that like the content that got added is something that feels so impactful that it feels like the game was incomplete without it.
Yeah.
After almost a decade, like it's so moving to me that like Austin Jorgensen, Dingling's real name, still thought so much about these characters and what they meant to like him and to the players and to the story that he was trying to tell.
I will come back and play this game again, I think, now that I know how it functions more. But honestly, I feel like watching a long walkthrough of this game is kind of a valid experience to experience it. No, it still works as a game, but I do have some issues with how insanely rage game the game can be designed as. Like
My
but
my second least woke take of all time is that there is not a single game where watching a let's play of it is a valid like alternative to playing the game. So
I
I
mean,
disagree heavily.
it's not, I mean, valid. I don't know. I There are some let's plays I've watched that impacted me. Maybe it would have impacted me more, quote unquote, if I had played the game myself. I'm thinking of the game Omori here. But like honestly, I don't know. Once I finished watching the playthrough, I'm like, I felt the thing especially the ending. I felt the thing the game wanted me to feel. Maybe it would have hit different if I had played it, but I am fine with this experience and do not feel wanting.
I don't know about Omori. I haven't played it or watched a let's play of it. I don't know how much the player the playability of it impacts the story or vice versa. But for me, especially with a game like Lisa, it's like a game that needs to be played because it is a game where the player experience is integral to the narrative.
It is, but some part of it isn't. I don't know. I guess I need to think about it more and honestly play the game again. It feels very, to me it feels antagonizing that a game that has limited, like checkpoints are limited amount of resources, to have this kind of game have also like death by falling that instantly kills you and all your party.
Yeah, that's the point.
Right. Yeah.
It's called the
Mario-
painful for
Ma-
a reason.
Yeah, it's called, I don't know. It's not called Mario Cat, but it's designed like it.
It's
Cat Mario.
what?
I meant. You don't know Cat Mario?
I know Cat Mario. What does this have to do with what we're talking about?
Because this game is designed like a rage game.
Oh, fuck. Oh, I know what you're talking. Okay, I was thinking of literal, real, official Cat Mario from fucking Mario 3D World. No, Cat Mario is like the Flash game, right?
Okay, I'm sorry, listeners. I'm getting tired over here. No, we've been recording for several hours, and this
No,
is
we
getting past my
totally
bedtime.
recorded 2 different episodes at 2 different times and not back to back
Yeah.
because that would be stupid.
Yeah, that would be very stupid. Do you know that there is also a conversation in the ending of Buddy, of Lisa the Joyful, after the big lady in the gown thing?
Oh, like if you had done the definitive stuff?
Definitive count. Yeah.
Not really, no. I didn't watch that
It's
much of it.
Actually, I would recommend you, like from one conversation, I could tell that you did not have it. And it's basically a conversation between Brad and Buddy as she was young in the household. And you get more insights on how their relationship was when it was at its most normal. And it's not as emotionally devastating as the one in Lisa the Painful. But it is, again, a lot of insights. And this time, a lot of insight in what the game is trying to tell you. Like, its message it has to the player.
Fuck, I should watch that.
It's a really good conversation. Did we finish Lisa?
Yeah, we did it.
Incredible. We done it. Again.
We can't be stopped.
We can't be stopped. Do you have external medias you like to talk about that are related to Lisa?
No, just go play Lisa and play it again.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't really have one either, except our next Rotten media, or at least Rotten adjacent, I guess.
Uh-huh.
You'll be the judge of how rotten it is. I don't think it's as rotten as Lisa, but I do think it has rotten.
It's a high bar.
It is a very high bar. Man, now I want to listen to a Something Rotten episode on Lisa the Painful. I can tell why you wanted.
You don't need to. We did it. We made it.
Yeah, exactly. If you want it and it's not here for you, it hasn't been made, then just make it yourself. This is why we started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And god damn, that was a great decision.
I agree.
On both our part. So, Lisa the Painful and Lisa the Joyful are games that are, in part, about legacies. About Marty's legacy to Lisa and Brad. About Lisa's legacy on Brad and Benzo and Rando. It's about Brad's legacy on to Buddy and Rando, and then it's about Rando and Brad's legacy to Buddy. It's about what we transmit to the generation after, family or not family, friends, acquaintances, the good and the bad. And this next media is not a game, it's an anime which talks about legacies, especially what we as a society, the legacy we leave to our children, and how as a societal body we see children as both a future and an object to be afraid of. Shin Sekai Yori, which is a 25 episodes long anime, is going to be our next series. These are going to be our next episode. Jacob, do you have any question?
For the audience, the Englishified title is From the New World, just to put that out there.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
It's a daunting task to watch an anime for me. We've discussed before. I don't really watch anime this much these days, but after that I'm going to be making you play a horror game, so I will endure the horror of watching anime, and I look forward to it.
I'm glad you recommended me this game for this podcast, because honestly, with how fucking shit those 6 first hours of playing Lisa the Painful was, like, I would have dropped this game after 3 or 4 hours probably if it wasn't for the first recommendation. So sometimes we get something important from the stuff that isn't easy to consume.
Yeah.
New perspectives that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Obligation can carry you a long way.
Indeed. I hope you're not going to have too much struggle with watching Shinsekai Yori, but I'm very excited about this future series, and I'm really happy with how the Lisa series turned out.
Me too.
I can't wait to listen to it. It was emotionally taxing, but also what's the word? Cathartic to talk about with you, and I've learned some things about you, Jacob, that I appreciate you more as a person. I mean, I appreciate more who you are as a person. Like, no, that sounds very judgeful. No, I mean, like, oh God. I've learned things about you, that an aspect of you that I wouldn't have in a casual conversation, I guess.
For sure. And you know, I've learned most of that stuff about you already, but I got a more in-depth look at it thanks to this conversation. So I appreciate that as well.
Damn, that means I traumatized up on you more than I mean to. Fuck. If you've already gotten all that stuff from before. But
nah. We should, and this goes to anyone listening, trauma dump to your friends more consensually, of course, but you know, ask your boy how he's doing, ask your boy what he's been through.
Yeah, when you put it like that, this plainly, it's so obvious. Until next time, trauma dump on your friends consensually. Bye now.
Goodbye.
Take care of yourself.